Okay, there we go. Hello and happy Saturday, happy weekend. Saturday is a grocery shopping day, and so out we went today. Also to the ER. My son badly sprained his ankle with it chipped, some of the bone chips flew on. It's a bad scene. So that took the first few hours of the day, and then groceries. So I wore one of my two purple shirts, and I love purple. And this is such a wide scooped neck that this tends to slide down and do a lot of off the shoulder action. Okay, it's fine. It's not intentional. I was doing a lot of this during the day, but a lot of times it would slip down to here, and the black bra strap, which is fine. It was fashionable. It matched the accessories, but it also did a lot of showing off of Frankenshoulder, which is fine. I like the scar. I think it's kind of badass, and it tells a really good story on its own, and then there's a lot of details to it. January 4th, 2017, I was walking to the bus for lab work. I was beginning a phase 2 clinical study, and I just misjudged where I put my foot back on the sidewalk. I was walking on the snow on the grass because the traction was greater there. So I stepped on the sidewalk too soon, and my left foot flew out from under my body. My body went straight back and slammed into the sidewalk. Resounding pain, screamed. A lot of numbness initially on the left arm and hand. I was hoping it was just dislocated. Someone could pop it back into place, or I could watch a Google video or snippet from a movie where I just heroically run to the wall and slam into it, and that would put my arm back, and then I'd have function. The fracture was right here at the top, a jagged break of the humerus. So the ball was like on its own. This dislodged scoop of ice cream was on its own. And I'm pointing to this, but this is the actual ball, and I'll get into that in a minute. So the several surgeons wanted to cut immediately, and I said no, because my clinical study nurse was right there with me, Jackie. She was fabulous. She was right there with me because I was scheduled to go do all that blood work for her that day, with like 4 or 5 blood draws over the course of 4 or 5 hours or more. I don't remember the details, but so she was right there, and she could find out about the apologize for the, there we go. I'm just trying to stabilize my right arm because it's getting really tired. I've tried this a few times. This is like take 3 or 5. The first surgery occurred about 6 weeks in. I had 2 months of the drug in me, and I took the break necessary for surgery. 2 weeks off prior to surgery, and 2 weeks off post surgery, or however long it took for the surface wound to heal, because one of the drugs affected blood production and cell regeneration. So I had to not take it. And the first surgery was a stabilization surgery, where he basically cored out the humerus of all of its marrow and shoved this rod down, or spike down into it. Yeah, it sounds better to say spike. It's what it's called, a spike. It's, sorry. So he bolted it at the top and at the bottom, putting 2 bolts. They were parallel. I'll try to get parallel fingers. There you go. These 2 bolts were parallel into the ball joint, and then 2 parallel bolts down at the bottom. There's 2 incisions, this long incision at the top, and then a shorter incision at the bottom of my arm. Excuse me, right above the elbow. And that one was successful in terms of initially stabilizing things, but after about 6 weeks of really painful physical therapy, and I did make some improvement. I had some mobility. I had some function. Some, not a lot. Really, the left hand was useless at first. The left arm, of course, was useless, but the left hand was useless. It took weeks to be able to hold things and carry my mug of coffee. Was a triumph to be able to do that. So the first surgery looked successful, but after several weeks, when we went back to get the x-ray, the ball had been so buttery, was how my surgeon described the bone, not porous, but buttery. So it just didn't hold the bolts. The bottom bolt went up, the top bolt went down, the humerus went rogue and shoved into my deltoid, the ball was retreating back into my chest. So he went in and said, no, we got to replace it. If you want any kind of function, you have to have a joint replacement. So I had a total reverse arthroplasty, or joint replacement, in which what happened is he just cut he made a nice straight cut, took about 1.5 inches of the humerus off. So we removed that piece of bone and the ball out. And I had a little bone graft, donor bone in there to help build it up. And then there's a little titanium cap on the humerus that holds the apparatus with the socket. And it's reversed because the ball is attached to my scapula. It's bolted to my scapula. So you can actually, this is bolted to my scapula back here. And then it sits in this socket. And the second surgery was successful, except that I was one of 2% of orthopedic patients whose where the ball joint would pop out of the socket. It was kind of painful the first few times, but I also was able to replace it, which also hurt, but it started hurting less and less as I did it more and more. And by the time I went back for my 4-week checkup after that surgery, the x-ray tech is the one who kind of made a face and went off to talk to my surgeon, and my surgeon had told him to escort me to the ER, so apparently it was not a good thing. And man, people came from around the hospital to see this kind of freakish woman in ER who could pop her shoulder joint back in. So anyway, third surgery was to replace the socket. The ball of the shoulder ball sits in the socket, kind of like a golf ball sits in a golf tee. So he had to take the socket and make it narrower and deeper so that the ball could sit more securely in it. And that was the third surgery. So 3 surgeries, a year of physical therapy, a lot of recovery, a lot of pain, a lot of immobility, a lot of disuse, and some permanent damage. Okay, here we go. Let me hold this over here. All right. A titanium shoulder joint is really functional and itself sturdy. Then I have full rotation. I can't fully rotate it myself, but if someone were to take my left hand, they could pull it all the way up and rotate my arm. I can go up, but not completely back. So I can't put 2 arms up and do a touchdown. I have to touchdown, go team. And I can't reach behind my back. It's very painful to do if I go too far, which is very easy to do. So what I do is to put on a bra, I reach around about this far. I go to about this point on my back. I go about this far with my hand, and I reach with my right arm all the way around my back and put my bra into my left hand so that I can pull it around to the front, clasp it, and then twist it. That will be the rest of my life. I will never be able to functionally fasten a bra on the back like that. So front clasp bras, yeah, someday. Total reverse arthroplasty of the shoulder is pain. It is intense. It is continuous. It is lifelong. It does wane. It can be mitigated. It can be lessened. It can be reduced with exercise and strengthening, which is also very painful. I'm not willing to put the time in continuously to keep building those muscles up, so they are what they are right now. I can't hold much in my left arm or for long. I can now carry a mug of coffee into the bedroom, and to me that's a win. That's what I need it for, basically. Anyway, yeah, if you had a shoulder replacement or a joint replacement, shout out and let's talk about it. Or if you have any questions about shoulder replacement surgery, I'm glad to tell you anything I can remember. So, okay, take care. Bye.